So here's the bit that I really, really enjoy, and that's the talking to the directors whose films we've just seen. So let's go. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and the film that we've just watched?
My name is Jefry Musa, the director of Slum. I'm actually a Khmer, Kon Khmer. Both of my parents from Cambodia, so that's why I really want to go there.
Uh, my name is Chow. I'm director producer. I was born and raised in Myanmar, and currently I live in United States, Los Angeles.
My name is Karan Tejpal. I am the writer and director of Stolen.
My name is Teresa. I am the animator and director of Where My Branches Stem.
Hello, everyone. This is Xinyu Zhang. I am the director of the short film Until Whitering, and I'm so glad that the project could be officially selected for All Asia Independent Film Festival this year.
Well, actually, I started as a musician, and then I went into acting, and then from acting, I wanted to. I've done quite a bit of theater, and I've done some films, and I got interested in writing my own stuff and writing films and directing and just doing everything.
So this story about what is happening in Myanmar. So I want to tell the story, exactly what is happening 2021. A lot of Generation Z are suffer at the same time. So people protest on the street, and then the military is like they try to arrest them and killing them at the same time. So a lot of student is flee to the Myanmar border, like Thai and Myanmar border. So I want to be represent the voice to my people and my country. So I come up with the idea to interview a lot of real people at the same time.
Stolen had its world premiere at the Venice International Film Festival last year in 2023. The film is about these two young men helping two young privileged men who help a disenfranchised young woman find her kidnapped, stolen baby. And the film is almost a real time film that goes over 3 to 4 hours, and it's a journey into finding that child and all of the madness that sort of goes through in those 3 to 4 hours.
The story tells of a young woman who is kind of tired from her 9 to 5 life, that kind of clockwork lifestyle, and she decides to take a pause and go back and reconnect with her family and her culture and herself.
And this film, you've just seen, Until Withering, is actually based on ideas that came to me at that time. If it's not because of the pandemic a couple of years ago, I was planning to showcase the story on stage as a play, and I'm very glad that the story was able to be displayed on a screen as a film.
Slum or Kongsi in Malay language tell the story of Kayum, a young man from a stateless family who was struggling to become a better person while trying to protect his family. However, the trauma of being stateless and surviving a house fire continue to haunt him. In this film, actually, I want the audience to dive deep in the concept of sacrifice.
Yeah, so it's about our main character Joe, who is preparing dinner for his parents, getting ready to announce his engagement with his fiance. And while the parents are on the phone, they take the wrong exit, and they get into a little bit of trouble with some acts of violence and all that stuff.
Here's a tech question that I always like to ask because I'm often astounded. But how long did it take you to shoot and then to edit your film?
We shoot the film in 2 days, and we spent almost 2 months editing it. But before that, we spent more than a week to rehearsal, because we need to rehearsal a lot of things. Why this is my first film that I make a proper rehearsal before I going to shoot, because it's very challenging for us.
I preparing for this story for since 2021 with my friends. My friend live in Myanmar and she's a script writer. So we talk about it and we interview a lot of people and we wrote this story for over 2 years and to prepare and then we finished around 2022 December. So I went to the Thai-Myanmar border, and then I make it happen for this movie to representing the boys for awareness for internationally.
Yeah, I started to work on the story then itself, but the film kind of began, you can say, production in 2020, and we had just about started. And in 2020, I kind of started to write a script. Before that, I was working more on research and really getting to know this subject. And in 2020, I started to write the script, and almost immediately when I started, COVID shut down everything.
Yeah.
And then this film took about another 3 to 4 years to get onto the floor. We finally shot it in January and February of 23.
So I started like in the summer of 2021 for it as a residency. And then I started actually applying for funding and actually like working out of my free time working on this film. And then I went back to school for a bit. So there was a hiatus there. And I would say in total, it took me until I finished the film fall of 2023. So that was like almost 3 years. Yeah, it took me to
Well, the shooting only took 3 days, but the preparation and the editing process of the production took a lot of time. I spent 3 months proofreading the script and doing preliminary preparations for the shooting, and the editing process took about 2 months after I did the shooting. Yes.
Okay, so we had one day to shoot it. I mean, we had rehearsals and we had, a lot of pre-production meetings, and so we had one day to shoot it. And my original plan was to, okay, so we get a couple takes in the morning and then take a break, and then we get another couple takes in the afternoon and we're done.
Making a film is a very curious beast, and I'm just wondering, are there any crazy behind-the-scenes stories, funny, sad, elaborately cool stories that you'd like to share with us?
I would say maybe like one of the funny things I think a lot of animators probably would relate is when you're doing animation, sometimes you can't find those videos of like to reference what movement you're trying to draw online, and so you kind of have to make them yourselves. Um, and my partner was kind enough to be like, how can I help? I don't, I'm not a drawer, so I can't do that for you. And I was like, okay, well, I have like, the animals in the zodiac sign. I was like, I need to figure out how they're moving and jumping. So I was recording them. And so they were like acting as a monkey and acting as like a chicken or a goat. So I have videos of that.
Funny stories? No, I was just really lucky to have the support of my crew and the cast too, and I was really thankful that a lot of my friends were were willing to help me out too. They believe in this project. I'm really thankful about that. Because at first I was just like, oh, I guess it's just me, and then people came up and like, oh, I'll help you, I'll help you. I was like, oh wow, cool, thank you. I mean, funny stories. That was probably the most challenging thing. Like on the day of, just um, I remember it was 3 o'clock that we still did not get a single a single take of the film, and I was getting really anxious at that point. Um, yeah. Besides that, everything was um, straightforward, I think.
Well, during one of the scenes, we were trying to manipulate the puppet to close its eyes in order to make the effect we want. And just as we adjusted it, it suddenly opened its eyes, and everybody around was kind of like freaked out. Everything lights out, and suddenly its eyes are open. It's kind of like creepy.
Lessons learned. What were the lessons that you've learned from making this film?
I would say this whole project was like a learning process, whether it was like technical issues, because I do like to work traditionally or through 2D. When it comes to special effects, like I'm always learning something new in order to add that effect on there, which I really appreciate. Adding that to my toolbox, applying for like funding, things like that. I'm not the best, despite all of the academics that I've done, I still like struggle with writing a lot of the time. So that's always like such a stressful process for me. But the more I do it, the better I'll get, doing that. So that's all learning curves for me. I'm also like in the future, thinking about if I were to approach a film again, how I would approach that, maybe in a like more relaxed way, not in a like deadline type of way, I think would be nicer like to myself and the process of the film.
I learned a lot, like being the uh and prepare to shoot like such at the unknown location. I don't know the location. So you just have to make it happen to tell a story. And then I have so much under pressure also. I just have to make it happen. I cannot complain about it, even though the weather is hot, the jet lag, a lot of under pressure. I cannot complain about anything. I need to make it happen. Like make it possible to shoot this movie and tell the story internationally. So that I learned.
I learned during the process. I learned a lot how to to adapt from the true story become a film.
I learned, Rosario, that what I think about making the film and maybe the subjects that I really want to talk about are sometimes not the only, because when you set out as a filmmaker, you are very confident and sure that this is what you want to talk about. But then my experience through this process of traveling around the world, listening to audiences, reactions, and from people across the world, I mean, from Europe to Asia to East Asia to America. I found that it is so, and it's very interesting. This is what I learned actually, is that everybody within your film sees different things within the film, and different things attract people. And that was something that was a really big learning experience for me.
You're in competition with a lot of other Asian independent film directors here at the All Asian Independent Film Festival 2024. How does that make you feel?
And I am very honored to be selected, or we are honored to be selected, the whole crew. I speak for the whole crew and the cast.
I don't really think much about competing. My answer is not really think much, but I see this is an opportunity to we celebrate our passion for cinema as a filmmaker, for us to celebrate our passion, what we love to do as a film lover.
I did participate in festivals for my undergrad film when I was still studying film animation. But I would say this is the first time where I'm actively coming out as like an independent artist and submitting to festivals. Yeah.
Very excited, and I think I'm really honored that I got the chance to present my film to a whole new audience. It's the first time my film is going to be playing in Cambodia, and that is very exciting for me. I wish I could have made it to the festival, but unfortunately, I'm just really, really busy with some work that I'm in fact doing for somebody else. And so I just cannot, get some time off. But I'm really looking forward to the festival, and I hope it goes brilliantly.
I don't see it as competition. I see it this way. I've been making a difference. I've been making the awareness for our people and country. I've been spreading your words internationally through International Film Festival. And I'm just so appreciated you guys including Zoomer in your program.